Welcome to lesson 8.1 of Ecom Entrepreneurs Academy. In this lesson, we'll be discussing seller feedback, which is one of the main things that we need to keep an eye on in terms of managing our business, which is the title of this module. So with regards to seller feedback, the first thing we will look at is where to find it / how to check it. And this is very, very simple and easy. All you need to do is go to your Seller Central account and under the Performance tab in the drop-down, select Feedback. So the next thing we'll discuss with regards to seller feedback is when negative seller feedback is left. So what is considered negative feedback? Anything less than 4 stars, okay? So 3 stars generally is considered neutral, but we'll consider it as negative. We should only aim for 5 and 4 stars. Many times a customer will leave negative seller feedback when it should really be a negative product review. Okay, so for example, they'll say something like, I used the product and it was terrible, it didn't perform well, it didn't do what it's supposed to, blah, blah, blah. Something like that that is about the product, but it's negative. They should have actually left a negative product review, but instead they left that as negative seller feedback. And that happens a lot actually because Amazon sends automated emails to the customer and they first ask the customer to leave a seller feedback shortly after the the delivery happens of the product once the customer receives the product, and then the product review is asked for later. And for whatever reason, most customers, when they receive that email that says, hey, leave seller feedback, they think that that pretty much just includes everything. So they leave not only or actually sometimes they don't even leave seller feedback, they don't even leave feedback for the seller and the fulfillment process and whether it was delivered on time. They actually only leave a product review. Okay, so this is actually great for us when they leave a product review, a negative one, as negative seller feedback, because it's actually much easier to remove seller feedback than a product review. So if they would have correctly left a negative product review, as they should have, then that would actually be bad for us because it's much more difficult to find, or excuse me, to have a negative product review removed than a negative seller feedback. Okay. The other thing is that product reviews are much more visible to customers or potential customers or prospects, those who are browsing Amazon.com, and it affects the buying decision of the potential customer much more than seller feedback does. Okay, so that's why it's actually a very good thing that a negative seller feedback was left instead of a negative product review. So in fact, because the seller feedback they left is really a product review, we can fairly easily have it removed. So Amazon actually has a specific reason. You can open a case and the specific reason under remove seller feedback, it says that they left. You can choose the option that says the customer mistakenly left a product review, and it will actually be very easy for you to remove it. So here's the process of removing negative seller feedback. Step 1, go to the Performance tab and then in the drop down click on Feedback. Number 2, find the seller feedback and copy the order ID. So once you go to the feedback drop down option and you click it, then you'll come to a screen where you can see all your seller feedbacks. Find the one that was negative, meaning 3 stars or below, and copy the order ID, which should be in that row. Then in the upper right of the screen, click help. So in Seller Central, in the anywhere when you're browsing Seller Central, in the upper right of the screen there's a help button or help link. Click that link or click help. At the bottom, click contact us. So basically a window will open up in Seller Central when you click help, and then at the bottom of that window, which will cover about 1/3 of the right of the screen, it'll say contact us. So click on that icon, and then when it says what do you need help with, click on selling on Amazon, and then the next option will be customers and orders. Then you'll be prompted to enter the order ID, so you can paste the order ID there and click next. Step 7 is to select customer feedback removal request. So once you paste the order ID, it's going to ask you, hey, what do you want to do with this order? What's the issue? And you select customer feedback removal request and then click next. Step 8, click next again. Step 9, select your reason, and it should be product feedback. So it's basically asking you, well, why do you want to remove this customer feedback? And our reason, like I said, there's an option there that will say product feedback. So select that as the reason. And step 10, click send. And that's it. So the next thing we're going to discuss is a positive product review. So similar to how customers sometimes mistakenly leave a negative product review as seller feedback, which we just discussed, sometimes they also leave a positive product review as seller feedback, okay? Of course, we'd like the positive seller feedback to remain, even though it should have been a product review. We don't want that positive seller feedback to be removed. We just want to also use this as an opportunity to get a positive product review from the customer in addition to the positive seller feedback that they've already left. So the way we do that is first we go to performance and then feedback, and then find the seller feedback and click respond. So in that row, for that specific seller feedback that was left as a positive product review, in that row you want to click on respond, and then you want to enter your response and click submit. Okay, so there's a very specific template that I am sharing with you that you can use to send to your customer who leaves a positive product review that should, excuse me, a positive product review as seller feedback that should actually be a product review. So you're going to basically email or message the customer through Seller Central using the steps that were provided on the previous slide, and you're going to send them this message. So the message says, thank you so much for the positive feedback. We're so happy that you've had a favorable experience with our product. It seems as though you mistakenly left your product review as seller feedback. We love it if you could also leave a positive product review. It'll take less than 2 minutes. Just follow these simple steps. So you're making it extremely easy for them to leave this feedback for you, and you're making it so easy that the first thing that you're going to put in as the first of the 3 steps is you copy your seller feedback. So you're literally going to take the exact words that they used in their seller feedback, and you're going to put it here as part of step 1, so that they don't even have to go into their account and find the seller feedback and copy it and then paste it. You're going to put it in the message itself so they can simply copy it themselves, and you're going to put quotes around it so that it implies that you quoted them and you haven't changed anything as part in that quote in that seller feedback. It's exactly as they left it. Step 2, visit this site, right? So the site, this URL, you're going to replace the X's at the end of this URL with your ASIN, and that will take them directly to the screen where they can leave that review for your specific product that has that ASIN. And then step 3, select the number of stars, paste your feedback, and click submit. Okay, and again, we're saying paste your feedback because they already copied it as part of step 1. This is an extremely easy process. It literally takes a minute or less. So hopefully this easy step-by-step message to them will result in them leaving that positive product review for you. And then you say, that's it. Again, we appreciate your positive feedback. We hope you consider brand name, whatever your brand name is, for your future brand niche or market needs. Please let us know if we can be of any further assistance. Kind regards, customer care. Okay, and this has pretty good conversion rates when sent to the customer who left that positive seller feedback that should have been a positive product review. So I highly encourage you to use this anytime you get a positive seller feedback that's actually should be a product review. You can send this to them. Seller feedback recap. So let's cover and review everything that we've gone through so far. The first thing we looked at is where to find it and how to check it. Number 2, we looked at how to remove negative seller feedback. And then the final thing we looked at is how to utilize positive seller feedback about the product as a product review. And one thing final that I'd like to mention as this lesson concludes is that the template that I provided to you, you can actually use that even if the positive seller feedback wasn't a product review. If it was actually a seller feedback, like they talked about, if it was delivered on time and if the fulfillment was appropriate, it was as expected and whatnot. So you can actually respond to that positive seller feedback and be like, hey, thank you for giving us feedback on the fulfillment process and seller feedback. If you can also, once you actually use the product and test it out, if you have a favorable experience, and if you could also leave us a product review, and pretty much paste the exact same response, just change the wording a little bit, implying that they can also leave a product review, and make the steps as easy as possible, literally as I showed you in the previous slide. All right.